Good morning, Mutton Pop Thrift. My name is Tom. I'm a stay-at-home dad for 5 kids, and I'm a full-time eBay reseller. I did super well today, so you're going to want to stick around and see what we sold. The very last item, super good. I paid $2, sold for $100. So stick around and see that. A whole bunch of other stuff worth seeing. Let's get into it. The Big Slice. I paid $1 for it. It is factory sealed. It sold for $2.50. It's not the kind of thing I'm doing anymore, but I didn't take the listing down, so it sold eventually. We recently went to Wisconsin. I've mentioned it several times on the channel. We stopped at Great Wolf Lodge and we had a day or two at the water park, and they give you these ears. One of my boys wanted to keep the ears, the other ones didn't. So these are ears that they give you for free for the kids. They sold for $11, free shipping. This is a really good one. Let me see how much it sold for. $36. I paid $2.50 for it the other day at Goodwill. It was in my giant cart. This is Jeff Gordon front and back, 1998. I don't believe, 1996. I don't believe it's single stitch, but it is Chase, made in the US. Super nice shirt, super bright colors. Comps were like 44, so I priced mine at 37, and it sold real quick, and that's how I like to do. This Dale Earnhardt Jr. shirt is not as old. It's like 2008, and I paid $2.50 for it, and it sold for like $14 free shipping. So I mean, that's making money. It's worth doing, but it's not nearly the Jeff Gordon shirt from 10 years earlier. Little Rick hat pin, sold for $8 free shipping. Last summer I got a huge mess of horror posters. Amongst those was a Disney poster for the Tower of Terror, but it was like coming soon to Disney World, the Tower of Terror. So it was predates the ride, and it was something that was only available for travel agencies to use to promote Disney. And a buddy of mine wanted that stuff. He traded me this huge mess of Bambox stuff and a little bit of cash, and this was in that. I'm way into the profit because on that exchange, but this was something that was still listed from when I first listed those. It's been around forever. $8 free shipping. No real money made, but it's a fun thing. Cole Haan's. Picked these up for $6.99. Cole Haan is made by Nike, but these are dress shoes, and then they have blue soles. I don't know why you would want to have blue soles on your dress shoes. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. These sold for $32 free shipping, and I think I paid $7 for them. Harley shirt sold for $13 plus shipping. Nothing spectacular here. Indianapolis Motor Speedway themed. 3X. So that means if it's 3X, that means I got it in a bag that I paid less than $1 a piece for 7. I paid $5 for 7 shirts. Build a bear, but not a bear. Build a unicorn. So I paid $1 for this. It sold for $16, free shipping. Pineapples and palm trees. Tiki lights. Tiki lights do reasonably well. I paid 75 cents a box for a whole bunch of these, and these two together sold for $15, free shipping. Bates combat boots. I don't know if you can see that on there or not. These are Gore-Tex, which is always a good thing to look for. And these I picked up for $5 a pair at a garage sale a long time ago, and I kind of just sat them aside and they never really got listed, and eventually they got listed. Took them probably 3 or 4 weeks to sell. Sold for $31 plus shipping. Another shirt from my big cart of clothes at Goodwill. This is a Guess jeans blank. It has this tag up here that says Guess. Normally anything that says George Marciano is vintage. It's not, I don't know that to be the case, but it seems to be when I find them. that they are vintage when they say that. This was made in the US and it has that tag. I haven't even looked to see if it has this tag that it's supposed to have down here. Yeah, so it has this tag down here too. Also says guess, but that one looks super vintagey. That's the classic vintage guess tag that I'm normally looking for. But this embroidered logo spell out is just that's a reasonably desirable thing. Guess stuff is not always worth picking up even when it's vintage. But that one I paid $2.48. I've had it for like 4 days. I think it was listed for 2 days and it sold for $20. So that's worth my time. All right, looks like we're going into BOLO territory. I think the obvious thing amongst my BOLOs is this. I paid $35 for this. Picked it up on Facebook Marketplace, and what was really weird was this lady had it on Facebook Marketplace, and when she gave me the address, it was the address of a mall, and I was like, oh, she just wants to meet at the mall, but she didn't give me a time. She said just show up whenever, so I was like, this is really awkward. Well, I showed up at the mall, and they were having a flea market, and she was posting her flea market stuff while she was sitting there. She was posting it on Facebook Marketplace, and I guess, well, it worked out for her. I paid $35 for this, let it sit untested forever because that's what I do evidently, and I listed it, and it lasted about a week. It sold for $110, and I threw in these games, which were doubles. I cleaned out my son's video games, things that they weren't playing with, and these were games that they decided they didn't want, and they had 2 of. So these are all ones that we had doubles that they didn't want either of. My kids have way too many Wii games because I always buy them and often keep them. Better BOLO, and I think it's a better BOLO because you're more likely to find it cheap. A Wii complete in box, you're not going to find that cheap enough to make money real often. But a Murder, She Wrote board game, how awesome is that? You guys saw me find this on a video. It was up here on a shelf marked $1, and so I paid $1 for it. Turns out some of the pieces are not even punched, and I'll show you what I mean by that. Because it makes a difference to collectors. If you find one that would be like all unpunched, it basically means not used, not made ready to play. But like this little white coin in here, you can see that it's perforated, and you would punch it out in order to play the game. Like this one has it punched out. This red one that is the bad guy doesn't have it punched out. And then these little rings are like, you break them apart to play the game, but these are unbroken. And some of them, I think they had like 3 people play, and they only played it once because they only played, the same 3 people played it all the time and didn't bother to open the rest of the pieces. Because it's up to 6 players, and 3 are broken and 3 are not. But that's in really super nice shape. Comps went clear up to $60, but I am not going to let something that I bought for $1 sit for 8 months while I try to get $65 for it. I listed it for $40 and it sold in 3 days, and I'm super happy about that. While we're on the subject of unpunched, and this doesn't make a lot of difference, but like this Pez thing here, you see how that has a you recognize that this would have had a piece of cardboard in that eyelet, that Kermit shaped eye hole thing, when it would have gone on the shelf. When they put it on the shelf, they put the peg hook through there, it punched that little hole out, and then it hangs on the shelf, and that becomes swept up off the store floor and becomes trash. But if they put it on the shelf in a box, or it sells before it ever gets put on the peg hook, well, then it's unpunched, and later it makes a lot of difference, especially on older toys. If you find Ninja Turtles, in order to have the punch hole, they would have to be fairly old, because even in 97, 98, they were putting hooks so that there wouldn't be a place to punch. But unpunched He-Man, that kind of stuff, like it can add 25%. Like you have a mint on card one, and one has that hole and one has the cardboard there. The one with the cardboard, the unpunched one, would be worth 20-25% more. So it's probably the likelihood of finding a collectible toy that has the unpunched. You're probably going to buy it either way. But just that's a keyword, something to keep in mind. Hopefully, somebody finds some unpunched stuff this week that they wouldn't have necessarily known to look at that anyway. And while it is not technically the best sale of the day, it's my favorite, and I guess it is the most profitable. Paid $2.19 for these Oakley brand ski goggles. And I'll tell you some things to look at, because you're probably not going to find them in the box to know that they are from 1988. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that focus or not. US 1988 Olympics. So if you find Oakley brand goggles, if they have the spell out here, then they're considered 80s. I think 89 was the last year that they did the spell out, and then they went with that classic 90s Oakley, like really exaggerated oval. They did that in the 90s, and so the ones that if you find them that have the really exaggerated oval instead of saying Oakley on them, then they're still super good. Look out for these. These are sold, like you can see the US freestyle ski Olympic team. These are ski goggles, but they sell to motocross, motorcycle, BMX, extreme sports of any variety. They're ski goggles, but they are, I put BMX and motocross in the keywords, and they sold in like 5 hours of being listed for $100. These old school BMX stuff is just super hot, and those guys have money and are willing to spend it on the right stuff. So if you find these Oakley goggles, they are, without the box, they would probably be $60. Well, the box makes them super unique, and this foam can deteriorate pretty easily. If you guys pick up stuff at thrift stores a lot, you know this foam would, on a lot of this stuff, you would touch that foam, it would just come off on your hand and be totally shattered. I put in the listing, like, this foam is in nice shape as it sits, but if you're going to use these and sweat on them, I don't imagine this foam is going to last too awful long. It feels pretty nice right now, but it is 31 years old, and it's foam, so it's kind of past its shelf life and needs to be handled with care. But I knew when I found these that they were something. I thought they might be 50, 60 bucks, but then in my head I was like, but they're new in the box, maybe they're $250. But I just threw them in the cart without bothering to comp them, and I pulled them off the new item shelf that they brought out. Our store has like these shelves that are, and you've probably seen them in the videos, they're like a 6 foot, this like 4 foot, and then one that's like a foot off the ground, and they just stack stuff on there. They push it out of the back. They let those of us who are going to swarm the cart, and then they send somebody out later, 15 minutes later, to put away the remainder. But I was able to grab these off the new cart, the new item cart, and for $2.19, and they sold in a matter of hours of being listed for $100, free shipping. So those are definitely my favorite pickup from that huge cart haul at Goodwill the other day. I don't think they may not be the most profitable, but they were the most exciting. They're super fun. That's all that I've got for you today. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you find something that you wouldn't have picked up otherwise. Thanks for watching, and that helps the channel out more than you know. If you click the like button, then more people will see the video. Go ahead and take a minute and do it now. Click the like button. More people will see the video. We'll grow the channel. We'll grow the community. If you want to see more, click the subscribe, and you'll see my new videos when they come out. Click the notification bell, and you'll get a push notification every time I put out a video, which is about every other day. And then comment. Let me know what you think. It helps with engagement. It helps push the channel out. It helps make my channel more successful. And I try to reply to every single comment. So if you have a question, that's probably the easiest way to get at me. Again, thanks for watching. It means the world. We'll see you on the next one. whoosh,